And now I'd like to welcome Marco Rendina from, he's the director of the European Fashion Heritage Association. Marco has been working for over 2 decades with museums, archives, and digital libraries across Europe, supporting them in their digital transformation. And now he's going to tell us something more about a very fascinating reuse scenario, the Virtual Try-On Museum.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. A disclaimer, I don't want to be funny with this image. It's just that my profile picture is for 15 years ago. So I think this resembles me better than that one. Thank you for the introduction. So I will not repeat it. I'm going to talk to you today here about one of the reuse cases that we tackled in the 5D Culture project, which was about fashion heritage, 3D fashion heritage in particular. What we wanted to do with these scenarios was to explore how 3D fashion content could enhance eventually visitors' experiences, both inside and outside the museum, and also experiment with new technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality applied to fashion collection. And of course, as a result of this experimentation, we wanted to understand the implication and understand some lessons that we could get from reusing fashion content in 3D fashion content in particular in this kind of context. We developed 2 scenarios. I'm talking about the first one, and then my colleague Sipke will talk thoroughly about the second one. The first one is the so-called virtual fitting room, which is using augmented reality technologies combined with 3D models of fashion garments to create, to enhance the visitor experience in fashion museums. Typically, we'll talk instead about the virtual exhibition, but I will not spoil their presentation. These are the partners that were in this pilot of the virtual fitting room: the European Fashion Association, the Central Museum in Utrecht, and our colleague from FBK, the Fondazione Bruno Kessler in Trento, in particular the 3DOM group, which is, probably one of the most advanced research group in the 3D field. And for this, I think I will get a free beer tonight, right? So what this pilot was about, the virtual fitting room, we wanted to, we defined this kind of pilot first focusing on a specific kind of garments, hats, because they were quite well reusable, and you will understand why in a second. And we got them from the Central Museum's historical collection of hats. We decided to develop a web application for augmented reality virtual try-on using the SnapLens Studio and the camera kit from Snap. And then we wanted to deploy this in the museum space through a so-called digital mirror, and also QR codes with link to the virtual try-on app along the pieces exhibited in the exhibition in the museum space. Of course, we had to deal with some processing tasks. I'm not an expert on 3D, so I will just parroting what my technical colleague told me. We had to do 3D geometry and texture optimization, and obviously we have to develop the AR application. This is a visual example of what we had to do when I was talking about geometry optimization. This is one of the hats that we digitized, is a contemporary collection of Vivienne Westwood, the famous, I think probably you have seen it, the so-called mountain hat. The high quality, it's a lot of polygons of faces, and the optimized version that we had to use in a virtual try-on application, because of course we couldn't use the full resolution one. And the same we had to do with texture optimization. But again, I'm not going to tell you things I don't understand. So my colleague from FBK are here if you are curious to know exactly what they went through. On the museum side, what we learned and what we wanted to understand is which kind of techniques were better suited for this kind of work. So 3D scanning, photogrammetry, how low we could go with photogrammetry, so we can do also phone scanning, or we had to do a more professional kind of scanning. These were all things that in the especially in the fashion museums kind of arena were not so clear. So this was very useful for us as a first experience with this kind of object and this kind of technologies. Also, we had to deal on how to treat the specific materials. We had, in some cases, material that could be reflective or in some cases transparent, all issues that many of you probably that are into the 3D digitization are very aware of, but for us in the museums, the different museums were not so used to deal with. We selected and processed 8 3D models. These are a gallery of the one that we digitized. You can see hats from contemporary collection like the Vivienne Westwood one, but also hats from the 15th century, like the one on the far left. We also added a pair of glasses just to experiment also with another kind of garment. What we did basically, and you can access the app because it is online on your phone. It's a web app, so it can run on any browser or also on your laptop if you have a camera on your iPad. I added also the address down there. This is the mountain hat worn by Pharrell Williams, and these are our testimonials from the project wearing the same hat. Here you can see the hat worn in the Snap application. The filter we produced are both usable inside Snapchat, but also in our web application that we developed, the FVK developed. Just to, I will show you a very quick video that I have done this morning here because I realized that I couldn't do the live demo here. So here you can see that each hat has also a description. You can pick the one that you want and you will wear it. And you can see the information here. And then you can also take a selfie. There is a functionality, and then the selfie will be sent to you via email. Of course, we checked the boxes regarding GDPR and everything. This was quite a problem in a way. We were not aware of all these issues. And at the end of this cycle, we inserted also this 5 Likert scale validation to understand also how the application was perceived. But probably the most interesting thing was the fact that we deployed this application inside the museum. So Central Museum in Utrecht had an exhibition called Mode Chapeau from the 9th of May 2024 until September 29. So almost 4 months, and inside the exhibition, we added a digital mirror where visitors can, of course, roam in the rooms and look at the actual pieces exhibited there. But then they could also go in front of the digital mirror, and using the app, they could wear the pieces that they have just seen in the exhibition, and of course take a selfie eventually. Here you can see some images of the exhibition space. Of course, we also added in some cases QR code along with the displayed objects, so user can also go with their phone and look at the actual garment exhibited in the display, but at the same time they could use their phone and our app to wear that hat on their head. The experience was extremely positive. We through this kind of survey that we added at the end of the experience, we collected more than 100 responses, and this was the result. So 52% judged the experience excellent. 38% good, and only 1% said it was terrible or poor. And probably these were my personal enemies. What we learned from that? Basically, we realized that this kind of experiences, virtual experiences, are very engaging for most visitors, in particular for younger audience. At the same time, they are very easy to use by all visitors in terms of ages range. So also very old people can very easily interact with this kind of stuff. It's not complicated. You don't have to be a social media savvy to just, you know, wear a hat in front of a digital mirror. We saw, like you have seen, that overall, this was very much appreciated by visitors, and was also relatively easy to curate because there's not much curation behind this. So you don't have to, as a museum professional, you don't have to create a story to tell to users, like instead SIP gave with her use cases we show you. There, it's more important. Here, you just select the right objects, and you offer the possibility to wear them to users in a museum context. So these are quite good point, and that's why also many other museums in the Netherlands in particular are following this kind of example. The weaknesses, well, I can say that, as you may have seen, this was, I mean, FBK, it's a good group. They developed this application in a very professional way. But of course, we realized that probably we would have needed a UX, UI expert to make it even more enjoyable from the graphic interface perspective. These things are not to be underestimated if you want to deploy something to the public. Another weakness is that we don't have, despite this experimentation, we don't really have a ready-to-use deployment solution. So we cannot say to another museum, just get these, you put your pieces in, and you are done. It requires a bit of personalization still, and you have to work a bit behind this. And finally, and with this, I see already with your cards, this is the last point, I think. Possible AI bias can affect the user experience. What I mean here, we were quite surprised to see that the camera kit for Snap was still suffering a quite known bias of this kind of application, which was related to face detection. It's not working well with dark skin. So we had, unfortunately, some visitors of the museum, Central Museum, with dark skin. They weren't able to virtual try on anything because the system wasn't able to recognize the face as a face. We're surprised about this because we knew that Snap fixed the things in their application. But when we contacted Snap, they told us, yes, we are aware of the issue on the camera kit, is not yet solved. And of course, this was quite a blow for the museum because, yeah, it's not exactly a nice thing to have visitors coming in, paying the ticket, and then not being able to use your technology. So this is something that seems, I mean, you wouldn't have said that you can have this kind of problem with this kind of application, but unfortunately, this can happen. So suggestion to museum professionals, check before going live with these things if you can suffer similar issues. And with this, I think I have finished, hopefully on time, right? Thank you.